It's November 22, 1963. Kennedy decides to visit Dallas, Texas. With the presidential elections looming, JFK sets his sights on a second term. At 11:55 a.m., under a dazzling Texas sun, Kennedy emerges in his open-top Lincoln Continental. His relaxed smile and confident wave belie the danger lurking in the shadows. Car moves slowly through the turn at Houston and Elm Street. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out. Panic ensues. A second shot hits Kennedy in the neck. He remains upright, held by his corset. A third shot strikes his head, sending fragments of his brain flying. Kennedy collapses into Jackie's arms. In the chaos, the driver speeds towards Parkland Hospital.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 38 minutes ago. Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital. He will be taking the oath of office shortly and become the 36th President of the United States.
Jackie Kennedy, famously refusing to change out of her blood-splattered pink suit, wore it to Lyndon Johnson's swearing-in ceremony, stating, "I want them to see what they have done." The image of her standing beside Johnson, her face a mask of shock and grief, became iconic and symbolized the nation's loss. Vice President Lyndon Johnson takes the oath of office aboard Air Force One, becoming the 36th President of the United States. Police scramble to piece together what happened. A suspect, Lee Harvey Oswald, an employee at the Texas School Book Depository, is arrested. He denies everything, claiming he is just a patsy. Interestingly, 6 months prior, Oswald attempted to kill retired Army General Edwin Walker, using the same rifle he used to kill Kennedy, indicating a pattern of violent behavior. 2 days later, Oswald is shot dead by Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner with mafia ties. While being transferred, America is stunned. 2 assassinations in 2 days. The day after Oswald's murder, on November 25, 1963, JFK's national funeral takes place in Washington. Hundreds of thousands of Americans and representatives from over 90 countries gather. But the questions remain. Was Lee Harvey Oswald really Kennedy's assassin? Why did he do it? Why was he killed so quickly? Similar questions would emerge 61 years later, right after the 2024 assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The FBI, responsible for domestic intelligence, opens an investigation. They quickly identify Jack Ruby, who was filmed shooting Oswald. Ruby claims he wanted to spare Jackie Kennedy the ordeal of a trial. But this doesn't help Americans understand the true motives behind Kennedy's murder. Many are skeptical, and the government provides no solid answers. A memo from the Deputy Attorney General, now declassified, insists that the public must accept the version where Oswald acted alone, without accomplices. This paradoxically urges the government to be transparent and release as much information as possible to prevent speculation. In a phone call between Lyndon Johnson and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, Johnson expresses concern over the proliferation of investigations. To prevent various theories from spreading, Johnson and Hoover established the Warren Commission, led by Chief Justice Earl Warren. Allen Dulles, the former CIA director fired by Kennedy, is also on the commission. After 10 months in September 1964, the commission's report concludes, Oswald is the lone assassin. The Warren report claims the magic bullet theory, stating a single bullet caused 7 wounds to Kennedy and Texas Governor John Connally, is possible. Impressive, but many find it hard to believe. The commission maintains that Oswald acted alone, portrayed as a Marxist, married to a Russian, having lived in the USSR and being pro-Fidel Castro. In the Cold War era, he is the perfect scapegoat. Oswald had renounced his American citizenship for Russian nationality. For a government needing a quick resolution, Oswald fits the bill perfectly. With Oswald dead, the FBI and the government can promote their narrative of a lone gunman. The official conclusion is publicized worldwide, but Americans aren't convinced. In the years following the report's release, numerous inconsistencies are highlighted by professional and amateur investigators. The rifle allegedly used to kill Kennedy is a Carcano, an Italian weapon known for its inaccuracy and unsuitability for rapid firing. Some officers claim they saw a Mauser rifle at the scene, not a Carcano. To this day, American citizens conduct tests to determine the feasibility of the shooting as described. Beyond the rifle, there are discrepancies between the autopsy report and the Warren report's description of the wounds. Doctors reported that the neck wound was an entry wound from the front, contradicting the lone gunman theory. If the autopsy is accurate, there would be a second shooter and a fourth shot, discrediting the lone gunman narrative. 5 years after the assassination, Lyndon Johnson admitted in an interview that he never believed Oswald acted alone. The Warren report remains highly controversial. The so-called magic bullet that supposedly injured Kennedy and Connally is nearly pristine, despite causing multiple wounds. Even members of the Warren Commission later expressed doubts about the magic bullet theory. Governor Connally, also wounded in the attack, was convinced he was hit by a different bullet. Jack Ruby, who killed Oswald, was only questioned by the Warren Commission 8 months after the assassination, raising more questions. These questions erode American confidence in their leaders, especially during the tumultuous 60s and 70s, marked by scandals like Watergate. The biggest shock comes on March 6, 1975. On the TV show Goodnight America, an uncensored version of the JFK assassination film is announced.
I start hearing the same people being interviewed again, and what they said the first time had changed. And the only common denominator was that they had talked to the Secret Service.
Filmed by Dallas resident Abraham Zapruder, the amateur footage shows the presidential car, Kennedy waving, then suddenly his head snaps back violently.
Now, the Warren Commission said that all of the shots were fired from behind by Lee Harvey Oswald, a lone assassin, firing at the president. And as you can see, clearly, the head is thrown violently backwards, completely consistent with the shot from the front.
These images, shown 12 years after the event, shock the nation. Why did it take so long? Why did the FBI and CIA hide this footage? Under public pressure, Congress forms a new commission in 1976. This commission finds that the Warren Commission failed to thoroughly investigate the conspiracy angle. They accuse the CIA and FBI of not providing all necessary information for the investigation.
That's the most upsetting thing I've ever seen. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Former FBI agent James Hosty admits he was ordered to destroy compromising documents, including a letter from Oswald to the CIA. This letter hints at possible CIA involvement in Kennedy's murder or FBI negligence. The Warren report loses credibility, and conspiracy theories gain momentum, shaking American society for decades. But who really pulled the trigger on Kennedy? The government's opacity has spawned a labyrinth of conspiracy theories. At the forefront is the specter of mafia involvement. The Kennedys' entanglement with Salvatore Giancana, Chicago's notorious mob kingpin, raises eyebrows. JFK and Giancana both had affairs with the same woman, Judith Campbell. Some believe Giancana killed JFK to keep her. Others argue the mafia sought revenge for the Bay of Pigs fiasco, where Castro closed mafia-run casinos. Jack Ruby, who killed Oswald, was deeply connected with the Chicago Mafia, frequenting their nightclubs and potentially acting on their behalf. In 1992, Congress passed a law requiring the CIA and FBI to release all documents related to the assassination by 2017. Yet as we stand in 2024, the CIA stubbornly clings to its secrets. Each new president faces a high-stakes showdown with the CIA over these files. Even Donald Trump, who vowed complete transparency, found himself thwarted in his attempts to unveil all information. Declassified documents revealed the destruction of surveillance tapes and the motorcade route map, crucial elements that are now lost. While there's no conclusive proof of a conspiracy, the gaps in the official story fuel endless speculation. Kennedy assassination remains a mystery, a tale of a young president's abrupt end and a nation's enduring quest for the truth. In the wake of Kennedy's assassination, the Secret Service revamped its protective measures, implementing more rigorous protocols to safeguard future presidents. This tragic event highlighted vulnerabilities in presidential security, prompting comprehensive changes to prevent such occurrences. The assassination attempt on Donald Trump in 2024 was a stark reminder of the dangers faced by sitting presidents. The Secret Service's swift response was crucial in neutralizing the threat and ensuring Trump's safety. This incident, much like Kennedy's assassination, sparked a wave of conspiracy theories and public debate. Media coverage of assassination attempts profoundly impacts public perception. The immediate and extensive coverage of the Trump attempt in 2024 brought back memories of the live broadcasts and public mourning following Kennedy's assassination.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
61 years ago, highlighting the media's role in shaping historical narratives. Both the JFK assassination and the Trump assassination attempt led to public demands for greater transparency and accountability from the administration. These events underscored the need for clear communication to prevent the spread of misinformation and restore public trust. The assassination attempts on JFK and Trump had lasting impacts on how presidential campaigns are conducted. Security measures during public appearances and rallies have become more stringent, reflecting the lessons learned from these historical events. This is the saga of John F. Kennedy, a man who ascended to the presidency at 43, only to have his meteoric rise cut short on that fateful November day in 1963. It's a tale of Cold War intrigue and a botched investigation that shattered Americans' faith in their institutions. The Kennedy assassination remains an unsolved puzzle, a shadowy chapter that continues to captivate and perplex the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's most enigmatic and debated events. This was the strange case of Kennedy, a mystery that still echoes through time, and our very first video of a new docu-series. Subscribe now and be the first to know when our next exciting episode drops.